Packers, unfortunately, on the rolling in of a 31-27 setback against New England last night. But TJ, really an outstanding, very entertaining football game to watch.
It was. You know, we came off a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, and you know, we were ready to play yesterday. Unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of a couple big plays that you know, determined the outcome of the game. But very, very proud of the way we came out yesterday and fought. You know, and gave ourselves an opportunity to win the game at the end. Unfortunately, you know, we came up on the wrong side.
What a job Matt Flynn did yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Matt did an outstanding job. You know, a lot of people doubted Matt.
Myself included. And let me tell you, TJ, I've made a vow now that I'm going to try to see how long it'll go. I will never sell anybody short again.
Well, you know, Matt proved a lot of people wrong. You know,
he did.
He went out there, he had a great game. You know, he was the leader of our team yesterday. He was getting guys fired up. Never panicked in any moment. So, you know, Matt did an outstanding job yesterday. You know, like I said, unfortunately, Patriots made a few big plays that, you know, eventually won them the game. But, you know, I thought Matt did a great job leading our team and keeping the guys poised for the, you know, the whole 60 minutes.
And part of the game plan was to take a little pressure off him and go with a running game as well. And how, boy, those guys responded. I mean, Brandon Jackson, 99-yard effort yesterday. The team had 143, and I thought the offensive line really pretty much atoned for the week before and performed very well.
I thought Brandon had his best game of the season so far, and you know, Dimitri Nance threw a couple good carries in there for some yards, but you know, I thought John Kuhn played outstanding yesterday as well with his extra effort, getting us some big first downs, and I don't know how many times he hurdled somebody yesterday, but he was giving a lot of extra effort out there, and those guys did a great job. You know, going into the game, I don't think we expected to run the ball that much. You know, we kind of said we're going to let Matt go and let him throw the ball, but you know, we were being productive whenever we called the run, so Coach gave us the opportunity to get out there, and the guys did a great job. Brandon did a great job. John, Dimitri, all those guys did a great job of getting you know, some yards with extra effort and making some nice cuts. So that was nice to see the running game you know, being productive yesterday.
I'm glad they got Kuhn back involved again because he's a very productive short yardage runner. And you're right about the hurdling stuff. I've never seen a guy, you know, I've never seen a guy like that hurdle so many people. In fact, he hurdled one guy. They showed the replay, and he had like perfect hurdler's form. And, you know, if the guy would have picked up his helmet a little bit, John Kuhn would have thought twice about hurdling so many people. But did you get my drift?
Yeah, I don't know if those guys worked on that at practice, but, you know, I think Quinn Johnson hurdled a couple people too. So I don't know if they have their own period where they're jumping over people or what's going on. But it was great to see those guys giving extra effort and, you know, giving everything they got for a couple extra yards.
Well, there was a lot of people reacting to the final drive, the final sequence of plays, and a lot of people thought that the Packers mismanaged the clock and so on and so forth, and were taking too much time. But in reality, talking to the coaches today and Joe Philbin, the offensive coordinator, that was precisely the game plan. They wanted to use up every second of the clock before scoring a touchdown so that they didn't have to give the ball back to Tom Brady. It kind of backfired, but the only reason really why it backfired is because of that quarterback sack when the guy came off the edge on Brian Bulaga's side.
Yeah, you know, it was a tough situation. You know, like we said, we had to take the time out after the sack to kind of you know, bring the guys back together and get a nice play call. You don't want to rush those second and longs, especially that late in the game. But you know, the second to last pass where Donald caught it, I think everybody thought he had the first down, and you know, we were kind of expecting to go up there and spike it, but obviously it's 4th and 1. I mean, even if you throw a quick pass, you're going to have to struggle to get out of bounds. Or you know, I think it was just something we kind of wanted to have the ball in our hands the last play of the game, and you know, unfortunately we had an opportunity to win, but you know, unfortunately clock hit 0 when you know, we didn't score. So it was a tough decision, but you know, it's one of those things where if we win, you know, if we score, they don't get the ball back and the game's over. But you know, it didn't work out that way for us, and it was unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the play a little bit later on, the kickoff return. But there is some news tonight involving Bears-Vikings. Not only is it snowing over there, and they're expecting 4 to 6 inches by the time the end of the game concludes, But Adrian Peterson has been ruled out of that football game for the Vikings, but Brett Favre is going to start that football game for the Vikings. So I must admit I'm a little surprised at that. I thought for sure he was done for the year.
Yeah, well, hopefully Brett works some magic tonight, because we know it'd be nice if the Vikings could pull off one against the Bears for us.
They can obviously win the division with a win, but if they don't, not only can you guys control your destiny regardless in terms of the playoffs by winning your last 2 games as far as the wild card spot, if the Bears lose tonight, you can control your own destiny for the NFC North division title.
Yeah, we know, we pretty much know all the scenarios. Certainly be nice if the Vikings could win tonight, but like you said, if we win these last 2 games, we still got all the goals ahead of us. So, we're going to need some help, but we're more worried about what we're going to do going into next week, facing a good Giants team. So, go Vikings! Hopefully they can pull off a win tonight. That would help us out and definitely give us a little bit more motivation going into the week.
2-sack performance by B.J. Raji yesterday. Boy, he played well of the game.
Yeah, he did. He was all over the place. A couple sacks. Couple big TFLs for us. He's a guy who's, last year he was kind of, I think he only played like 30% of the plays. He wasn't being as productive, but this year he's on the field in pretty much every, sub defense we have. He's out there in Okie, our 3-man front. He's out there, and when we have 7 DBs out there, he's out there playing, and he caused a lot of havoc yesterday. He was a big spark for our defense.
Yeah, nothing worse though that when you're in the when we're loud in the locker room on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and to see B.J. Raji, Howard Green, Cullen Jenkins, and some of those other big defensive linemen, all 4 or 5 of them come out of the sauna in nothing but a towel. It is the ungodliest sight I've ever seen in my entire life. It is really something else to see those guys doing their thing. But boy, I tell you, put a football helmet and some shoulder pads on him, and that boy can play. It's just an unbelievable. He had a good year last year, and he was hurt part of the time, but this year he's absolutely saved the Packers defensively on the interior. We'll come back and we'll meet our guest tonight, and we'll have a whole lot more here over the next hour. This is In the Huddle. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network. And we are down here in the 5th quarter. Program brought to you each and every Monday night by Mole Lake Casino Resort and Conference Center. Our guest tonight is in his rookie NFL season, was active for the first time in his brief NFL career last night. Out of Texas Tech University, let's welcome Graham Harrell. Graham, you're packing them in tonight.
Well, I'm glad to see that.
Way to go! You signed back in May 20th during OTA, so you really never had the benefit of a full off-season program with the Packers and like that. But so how did that put you behind the 8 ball as you got into training camp?
Well, like you said, I think that Mike's quarterback school has kind of become quite a legendary thing for quarterbacks, and I didn't get to go through that with him this year. So, like you said, it kind of puts you behind the 8 ball, but just came in and tried to learn and tried to improve every day, and that's still what I'm trying to do, and things are going well for me so far.
I was reading an article on you way back in training camp or near the end of training camp, and it says something about you were comparing the plays from college to pros and how much wordage or verbiage was used during those plays, and that's quite a difference, isn't it?
Oh, there's no question. Like I said, probably in the interview back home, our favorite play was ace 95, and that's pretty easy to call. And then you get up here and you're trying to call a 25-word green right trouble flop, a scat jet 2 or something, and then you have to name every receiver what he's going to run. So it's X pose the end, X pose the end, Y will. And then you're telling the running backs their routes too, and I'm like, how am I supposed to even remember any of that? I've been here for 2 weeks, and coaches is sitting that all in through a little microphone in your ear, and so I just give him this over and over until I can just repeat it after him. But after a few months, I guess I started to get it. It's kind of like a foreign language. You start figuring it out after a while, but like I said, it's getting easier and easier, and that really helps.
So, what's the key to remembering? Is it understanding?
It's understanding. There's no question. Once you understand what he's calling and what you have to learn the formations and learn the protections, and then kind of putting the receivers' routes in, it becomes easy because you understand where each one of them are and what the route concept is and what you're trying to do. But in the beginning, you're just repeating the formation. You don't really know where anyone is. Then it's like, well, good luck trying to remember what receiver has what, because I don't even know where that receiver is in this formation. But you know, like I said, once you figure it out and start understanding it, then everything starts to become a little more natural.
You have to do anything with the linemen?
Tell them the protection. And then make sure they're blocking the right guy. Exactly. That is the easy part. That's either, you know, that's a scat 2 or a 2-jet or something like that. You know, they have a little bitty word in there where everyone else has these long drawn out words and parts of the play call. But you know, the linemen, they're probably the most important part of the call, but it's the easiest part as well.
Yeah. Do you often wonder how they get that all that stuff on?
Yeah, I have no idea how they call that stuff. I mean, all I hear in the huddle is blah, 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 2-jet, blah, 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 blah. Goes on for about 10 seconds. I'm like, geez, we're ready to break the huddle, like, okay, you know. But like you said, I mean, he tells everybody what to do. You know, why this, X this, Z that, halfback this. I'm just sitting there like, come on, man, break the huddle. We got our play. But, you know, it's definitely impressive what those guys do. I mean, there's a lot of verbiage and different routes they got to know. And, you know, the routes change depending on what covers the defense is running. So, you know, our quarterbacks definitely go through a lot of stuff. You know, I know they do a lot of studying to get their stuff down, but I think all three of them have done a pretty good job of running the offense, you know, when they've got a chance, especially with Graham. I mean, being new to the system, you know, he comes in and when we're in practice and, you know, all those guys know what they're doing, so it's easy to have guys like that know what they're doing and, you know, makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah, so I'm sure your head was swimming for a while, but there was a part in training camp, you know, preseason games, maybe the third game, second game, somewhere in there, where you could watch you in practice and then into the games, and you were zinging the ball pretty good. You had more zip on the ball. You looked like you're sure of yourself. You're going further downfield. That had to be that point where you were really starting to click in it, weren't you?
Exactly, and it was the weirdest thing. It almost happened overnight. It's like one day I'm in the huddle and I can't remember a word that he said to me trying to call the play, and then the next day it's like, oh, I know exactly what he said, and I kind of understand it. And once that happens, you start playing with more confidence, and when you start playing with more confidence, like you said, you're throwing the ball better and everything looks better. It's just because you kind of understand what you're trying to do, and you're playing with a little bit of confidence out there, and that makes a ton of difference. And like you said, right around that Seattle game was kind of when it happened, and we had a good game that game when I went in there, and then, you know, when we played in Indianapolis, we had a big time there, and it just, like I said, continued to get better and better.
So teams will draft quarterbacks for those that get drafted like in the first round, and then they pay them so much money that there's an expectation to play them. And it's got to be just, now you're not only responsible for learning your offense, but now you got to figure out the reads and the blitzes and all that kind of stuff. And you have other people helping you. The center, in this case, Scott Wells, plays a big role in that too. But you know, there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of different things going on that you got to worry about before even the ball's even snapped.
Absolutely. And like you said, up here, all our centers do a great job of helping you out and knowing protections and pretty much doing it on their own. You can just override them if you want to see something different. If you just want to protect one side and say, you know, I think they'll come from here, but I'll still just throw it all off of that guy or something like that, you can kind of override the call. But for the most part, our centers do a great job and know what we're trying to do and get us in the right protection. So that helps. But like you said, if you're a young guy coming in, I don't think there's any way that the offensive coordinator puts as much as he puts on Aaron right now, because, you know, even if a guy got every rep through OTAs and through the summer, he couldn't do a lot of stuff that Aaron's doing because Aaron's been in it for 5 years. So I'm sure that whenever, you know, a young quarterback's the one playing, they have to cut back some of the game plan and things like that until he gets more and more comfortable, until he really learns it. But, you know, here with Aaron being here for so long and us having some veteran guys up front, we're able to do a lot more, and I think it really helps us offensively.
Talking with Graham Harrell, the Packers rookie quarterback, who now is on the active roster. When did you know last week that you were going to be active? When did you have a pretty good idea?
I had a pretty good idea early because, you know, just through the way they do in practice and through some of the things I was hearing from Aaron, and Aaron was the one kind of keeping me up, saying, hey, I don't think that I'm going to be able to go, you know, be ready. And, you know, they were all kind of echoing that same thing and saying, be ready to go because we might need you this week. So early on, I had a pretty good idea, and but we didn't make it official until Saturday. And I think some of that may have been just to keep everyone, not to let anyone know if Aaron's playing or not, or really wondered if we really could get him back. But whenever they decided that he couldn't go, they had to make it official, and just in case they needed me.
When it was official, your thoughts? You must have been, I mean,
I was
probably
obviously excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice little Christmas bonus, but you know, like I said, I was excited, and I thought Matt did a great job last night, and if they would have needed me, I was ready to go and excited for the opportunity. But like I said, Matt did a great job, played really well, and gave us a chance to win.
So how much is your Christmas bonus?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen the paycheck, but it's going to be a lot more than it was.
Life on the practice squad. I mean, it's not a bad way to, you know, for a young guy like you to you know, you sit, you're patient, and you kind of just learn at a pace that is a lot more affordable for you to learn at.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's a good place to be, and at Green Bay they treat you just like everyone else. They treat you great, try to teach you the system, try to get you really involved, and you know, you sit through every meeting, you see everything that goes on. So.
And you even went on the road too.
Oh yeah, I've traveled to every game. So, you know, like I said, they keep you involved and try to teach you and get you learning, so that you know, in the future that they can use you.
Buy a new car?
No.
No?
I'm going to save it.
What are you driving right now?
A rental car.
There you go. It's all right. Not TJ.
No.
I have a Jeep.
Do you really have a Jeep?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were driving some sports car.
Oh, that's my summer car.
No. My point is made. My point is made. You ranked first in NCAA history, 134 touchdowns, 1,403 completions. That also is number 1 all time. 15,793 career passing yards, ranks number 2 all time. 20 games of 400 plus yards passing, and yet you went undrafted back in 2009. Were you surprised at that?
I was, but you know, Coach Leach has had a lot of quarterbacks come out of his system and put up huge numbers as well. And for one reason or the other, they haven't had much success in the NFL. And so, like I said, I think that kind of put them behind the 8 ball. But you know, Green Bay's giving me a shot, and hopefully I can make the most of it.
All right, that's our guest tonight, Graham Harrell. On the program, we'll be back. Graham and TJ Lang. More coming up after this on the Woodward Radio Network. TJ Lang. And we're back here at the 5th quarter in Little Shoot. An invitation provided by L&S Classic Limousine Service. Personal and professional service for all occasions. Call 800-830-5933. Lenny and Sue here again tonight, as they have been all season long and for the last several years, longer than I can remember. So, Lenny, thank you very much. Sue, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to both of you. So how do you, you know, we know Matt Flynn played very well, but did you realize he completed balls to 10 different receivers yesterday?
I didn't realize that until I was watching, actually I was watching Sports Center and they mentioned it. And, you know, that's spreading the ball around and doing a lot of good things. And like I said, he played really well. And obviously spread the ball around to 10 different guys. And the guys were just playing hard yesterday. And I think you could really see a difference in just how hard we were playing. It meant a lot to us when we needed that win. You know, people like Kuhn diving for first downs like 5 different times, it seemed like, and diving in the end zone and just making lots of plays on effort alone. And but like I said, I thought we did a really good job and gave ourselves a chance to win. And you know, came up a little bit short, but it's not because we didn't play hard, that's for sure. And Flynn did a good job and made a lot of good plays, especially considering it's his first start. So you know, I think we can grow a lot from that game and use it to, you know, hopefully win these next 2 games and get on a little run.
So what was it like to be in the Heisman Trophy hunt?
That was exciting. You know, we had a great senior year that year and put up a lot of great numbers. We did a lot of great things. We went 11-1, and like you said, the numbers earlier, we obviously had a great offensive season and won a lot of games. And you start getting lots of national attention to get that Heisman run, and it's just exciting. And we, like I said, it was very exciting. It was special to be a part of, and you know, I'll always remember that.
Absolutely. I mean, TJ, that's we sitting at the same table as a guy that's in the Heisman hunt. Pretty cool, I think.
It's an honor.
For being on,
yeah, but no, I mean, you know, I was always a big college football fan. It seemed like every year watching Texas Tech, they had a quarterback throwing for 5,000-6,000 yards, and you know, I certainly remember watching Graham when I was in college, and they did a lot of great things at Texas Tech. I know you know, the one game that sticks out of my mind is when they upset Texas there. You know, and Graham hit Crabtree for that game winner. That was a big play. So, you know, Graham's comes from a lot of tradition, and certainly, you know, the numbers you said earlier they put up in college. That's something to be damn proud of. So, you know, he had a great career, and now he's up on the active squad, and you know, I know he's taking nothing for granted. So he's going to keep working his butt off to, you know, hopefully get an opportunity someday to you know, compete and do what he wants to do.
What was Crabtree like?
He's a special talent. You know, he gets a tough rap a lot of the time, because he had to hold out and this or that and the other. But he's just a guy that loves to compete. He loves to play football. And you know, I don't think it was necessarily him that wanted to hold out last season. I think there's a lot of people in his camp, or a lot of people he kind of had surrounded himself with, wanted him to hold out and try to get as much money as possible. And but he was a great teammate. He wanted the ball a lot. He let you know that he needed the ball, but he had a point. When he got the ball, he made lots of plays, so he deserved the ball a lot. But I loved playing with him, and he's a great guy. And he and I got along really well. And when San Francisco came up here, I got to talk to him for a while. And you know, I think that sooner or later he's going to start making a lot of great plays in the NFL as well, and show what he can really do. And he's a special talent.
What do you like to do when you're not playing football?
I like to be outside, but it's a little too cold for me up here. I'm coming from Texas, so I talked to my friends back home, but it's 75 today, so I'd be outside in that, but I'm not going outside when there's 3 feet of snow on the ground. But I like to do things outside. We like to go to the lake back home, and I like to golf or play basketball or do whatever I can just to get out of the house. But you know, when I'm up here, I go walk around stores, or go hang out with the guys, or do something. But it kind of limits my.
Are you a ball walker?
I do like to walk the mall. I like to walk the mall, or Barnes and Noble, or Best Buy, or something like that, and just to get out and walk around and see people, and see if anything catches my eye that I need. But like I said, I just like to get out and have a good time.
Yeah. All right, folks, just, you know, a little approval rating here. Is this like the best accent you've ever heard? That's good stuff. Good stuff. Born in Brownwood, Texas. Is that where you still live now?
No, my dad's a high school football coach, so he coached in Brownwood under, you know, in Texas, the most legendary coach of all time, Gordon Wood. But we moved way out in West Texas when I was pretty young, and then from about 3rd grade on, I lived in the Dallas area. He got a job there, and we've lived there ever since, and that's still where I call home, is the Dallas area.
Texas high school football, one of the greatest pastimes in sports. I mean, it's good stuff.
It really is. You know, you see shows on it, and they're really not all that exaggerated. Town's shut down, and people come out, and you get great crowds, and it's something special back home, Texas high school football. It really is.
It's no Michigan, of course, but
I don't know about that. We got some pretty good teams up there in Michigan. No TV shows or anything about us.
all right. So special teams yesterday. Dan Connolly. You know, you know, everything. The sad thing is everything happened perfectly on that play. You know, the squib. You get the offensive lineman or any lineman to pick up the ball and run with it. Usually, that's a guaranteed. Play's going nowhere. He might even fumble the ball. And yet here's this big guy rumbling, stumbling. He decides to cover both arms around the football because he was anticipating getting tackled and getting hit. And then he broke a tackle. And then, well, you describe the rest of it, because as an offensive lineman, I know you truly appreciated. You didn't like it that the opposing guy scored, but when you look back at it today, seeing an offensive lineman do that is pretty unbelievable.
It was very impressive. I was certainly jealous when it happened. That's an offensive lineman's dream, to get the ball in your hand and rumble, and you know, man. But you know, it was a big play for them. But watching them, I mean, make a cut and then stiff arm a guy, make another cut, get down to the 2-yard line. I mean, you know, I was disappointed that it happened, but I wasn't even really mad. I was more impressed than anything. But you know, it was a big play for him, but give props to that guy. That was a heck of a play that he made.
He was pulling away from some
yeah,
people.
He was. And I don't think anybody expected that. You know, usually when you get an offensive lineman run the ball, they basically did what you did, covered up with 2 hands and run into somebody and try to go down without fumbling the ball. But he made a cut to the left, stiff arm cut to the right. I mean, he was trying to score. That was a pretty impressive pretty impressive run by them.
Yeah, I will say officially for the record book though, Mason Crosby did get blocked in the back at the very end of the play. There should have been a 15-yard penalty. They would have only taken the ball back to, you know, roughly the 20-yard line or so, but you know, you get a big guy like that, 71-yard run, you know, the referee probably said, hey, we can't take that away from him.
I don't know, man. That was a heck of a play back then.
Well, what's the referee's name again?
Ed Hockey.
Ed Hockey. You ever go up and compare, you know, tell him to pump it up?
I told him yesterday I was disappointed he wasn't wearing the short sleeves.
Let's see the guns, Ed.
Yeah.
Come on.
You ever watch film on that guy? He throws the flag about 30 yards in the air when he tosses it. So he makes sure to try to flex whenever he gets an opportunity to. And that's a tough crew, man. That Ed Hockey crew, they throw a lot of flags. You know, fortunately, we played a pretty disciplined game yesterday.
So Aaron Rodgers has the concussion. There's really no guarantee at this point that, you know, he's going to be back this week. He may get may do a physical test on Wednesday, which is kind of where it stands at this point in time. But you ever had a concussion, Graham?
I never have. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, Austin Collie, the Colts, just had a third one. He came back after two and had a third one yesterday. He got hit pretty hard. You know, you start having those multiple concussions and all of the science and experiments and everything that the medical profession is doing. This is some pretty serious stuff, and you really got to think about how fast. I mean, you want to come back and play, but you really got to think about how fast you want to come back and play.
Absolutely. Concussions are a serious thing, and the head's something you don't mess with. You know, if it's an ankle, you can bow your way back, or like far, if it's a shoulder, you know, it hurts, but I can throw. You can kind of bow your way back from that. But when it's your head, you know, that's talking about affecting the rest of your life and things like that. So that's not something you kind of play with. And, you know, lots of people have had career-ending injuries have had their careers shortened because they've had too many concussions. And so you can't rush back from that. But, you know, I'm far from a doctor, but Aaron's looked pretty good to me lately. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, he seems to be getting better and better every day. And you know, we hope to have him back, but that's ultimately going to be the doctor's decision, not any players, or not even Aaron, really. The doctors are going to have to clear it. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but I don't think we should try to rush him back or anything like that, because, you know, he's going to be a valuable part of the Packers for many years to come.
All right, it's Graham Harrell and TJ Lang. I'm Bill Scott. Back with more after this. Bill Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman TJ Lang. And we are back here at the fifth quarter in Little Shoe. Good to have you along with TJ Lang and Graham Harrell in the Huddle. Heard on many of these great radio stations around the state, like WXCE in Amory, WPRQ in Baraboo, KFIZ AM in Fond du Lac, WFBZ in La Crosse, WTSO in Madison, WOCO in Oconto, and WDTX in Wausau. Time now for the Granite Peak Ski Area email segment. Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau, the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin, 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. Granite Peak offers terrain for all levels of skiers with 14 inches of fresh snow over the weekend. Last weekend, Granite Peak is now open for the season. For more information, go to skigranitepeak.com. Justin.
All right, thanks, Bill. We'll get into the Christmas spirit right away. We'll start with Christy from Reedsburg. What is on each of your Christmas lists, and do you think you will get it?
A new car.
Do you need a winter car to teach it? No, you got the Jeep.
I got the Jeep, yeah, I'm doing that. Man, I really don't know. My parents asked me what I wanted. I told them not to give me anything. I mean, they're coming up this weekend. I mean, it's always nice to spend time with the family, so, you know, I guess that's pretty much all I could ask for at this point.
I'm feeling the same way. My mom asked me what I needed for Christmas. I said I don't really need anything, but I guess one thing that's on my Christmas list is I don't have any sheets on my bed right now. So maybe I'll get some sheets for Christmas, and I think there's a realistic chance that I'll get that one.
With the Christmas bonus, Graham, do you have any people asking for extra gifts this year?
My brother texted me and said he's expecting a little better gift this year after last week. That's what he told me. So he wasn't excited for anything except the fact that he might get a better gift. So we have high expectations, I guess, back home.
I don't know that I would ever admit that I didn't have any sheets on my bed. So.
That's a new one.
That's good stuff.
That's absolutely a new one. So we'll get to our next question from Craig. It's kind of, I guess, in the same regard. I know, Graham, you kind of hit on that, but are you a fan of the snow, and what is your favorite snow activity?
Me?
Both of you. I think TJ's is skiing. You've talked about that a few times, even though you're not skiing.
I like tagging people with snowballs too. That's pretty fun. Snowboarding, actually. I'm not much of a skier, but I used to snowboard a lot in high school, but like I said last week, I don't really know if they make snowboards for 320-pound men. I'm kind of nervous to go try it. I don't want to go snap it and get hurt doing something like that. But.
Get a longer board.
What about you, Graham? Any snow activities you enjoy doing?
Well, this is really the first experience I've had with snow, so I can't really tell you any good activities I've ever done because I've never been in it. But there's a family here in town, the Sepsics. They live actually a little bit outside of town, but they have a four-wheeler, and we've tried to sled to it and pull the kids around on it and stuff like that. And that's been pretty exciting, but that's really about the only thing I've done in the snow. So by process of elimination, that's going to take my vote.
How was your driving experience in the snow so far?
I guess it's been good. My rental car has a little button on it that says snow, so every time it snows, I push it. And I guess it helps me drive a little better, so it's been good.
All right, we'll get to our next question for you, Graham. This one's coming from Matt in Appleton. Wants to know how it felt to see a close friend of yours and Matt Flynn get a chance to go out there and perform as he did, and does that give you confidence in the future that you could do the same thing that Matt did?
I was really excited for Matt. He and I spent a whole lot of time together up here. He is a really good friend of mine. He's also from Texas, and we knew each other before actually we even came up here. So he's a close friend. I was really excited to see him play, and I was more excited to see him play well, not only for the team but for him personally, because like I said, he's a great player, and I think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league. But it was encouraging to see him play well. And like the guy says, I think that it does kind of encourage me because showing that just keep going, keep at it, keep doing what you're doing, and when your chance comes, you can perform well and do things well, and hopefully even get a shot to start somewhere in the league at some point. So it was great to see him play well. Like I said, I was really glad that he played as well as he did and gave us a chance to win.
All right, we'll get to the next question here from Christy. This is for you, TJ. Well, what would you rather get a chance to do? Catch a pass, kick a field goal, or return a kickoff? That's stemming from Mr. Connolly's return last night.
I'd say catch a pass for a touchdown. Not just catch pass, but for a touchdown, that'd be awesome. I played a little bit of goal line tight end this year, and I was always kind of disappointed when I saw there weren't any pass plays in, because I kind of thought I could be a little sneaky and get to the back end zone, get open for a pass, but that would be awesome to score a touchdown. I mean, that guy last night rumbled for 71 yards, pretty impressive, but I think it'd be a better feeling to score a touchdown.
No, did you ever expect to see Mike McCarthy start a game with an onside kick?
No.
So maybe there's a tight end pass coming your way.
I would love to do it at home, though, so we got 2 home games left. I don't know if I can make the Lambeau Leap, but there's some chairs against the wall. Certainly try. So that's like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to score a touchdown as a lineman, and I wouldn't be upset if they call my number in the next 2 weeks.
I'm sure if you scored the touchdown, you'd have Josh and Scott and all the guys ready to throw you into the Lambeau Leap.
Yeah, that'd probably be a penalty, but depending on the score, I think it'd be worth it. I'd take the fine too. If I kick the ball into the stands, that's like a $5,000 fine, but I'd do it. Screw it.
You got time for one more, Bill?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll come back and pick the winners. You $5,000 to kick the ball in the stands, and you would do it?
Absolutely. That's once in a lifetime. I'd probably get on Sports Center.
Yes, you would.
And give a fan a lucky souvenir too.
Yes, you would. And there you probably have all kinds of hits on whatever, all those multimedia deals. I don't get it.
As long as I don't make a fool out of myself.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. TJ Lang and Graham Harrell, we're coming back. We'll announce our winner of the Brandon Geek Spiel email segment, and we'll have more final segment coming up on the Woodward Radio Network.
Did he really? I think he's bringing around the car.
Bill Stout and Green Bay offensive lineman TJ Lang.
And we're back here, and the huddle continues in the 5th quarter with TJ Lang and Graham Harrell, our guest on the program tonight. Let's get our winner for the Granite Peak Ski Area email question of the week. Back we go to Justin Hull.
All right, Bill, we'll go with Matt Appleton. He had the question for Graham talking about Matt Flynn and his progression and if that gave him motivation. So we'll go ahead and give him that Granite Peak ski package.
And it's a $400 package, 2 nights, 2 days, gift tickets, valued at more than $400. Congratulations, we'll do it again next week. Packers home for the final 2 games. You win and you're in. Whether it's the division title or whether it's a wild card, you know, you win, you're in. That's not a bad spot to be. It's better than having to depend on other people.
Certainly glad to be back home, you know, first of all, after being on the road the last 2 weeks. It's going to be nice to finish out at home. And, you know, like you said, we control our own destiny. We got 2 games left. We still got to take it 1 game at a time, but, you know, our backs are definitely against the wall. You know, we got to win these last 2 games to get to where we want to go. And like Graham said earlier, you know, hopefully yesterday sparked something in us where we can hit a little bit of a hot streak. And you know, the Giants are coming off a tough loss at Philly, but you know, they're a talented team. I'm sure we're going to have a great game plan going in Wednesday, and you know, we're definitely fired up knowing that we're the only ones that could stop ourselves. So you know, we're going to do everything in our power to go out and to, you know, take it day by day starting Wednesday and also game by game, you know, starting with, you know, the Giants obviously this week. So we're definitely excited in the position we're in, and we're excited we're excited to get the chance to build on what we did yesterday as a team. So you know, we'll see what happens, but I'll tell you, we definitely got some motivation, a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and you know, we wouldn't want to be in any other position right now.
Yeah, I think the Giants have a chip on their shoulder too, which I think is really going to make for a great football game. At least, you know, on paper going in, both teams have a lot of motivation, a lot to play for at this point in time, and in a loss will likely put either one of them out. So it should be a pretty interesting football game. And what happened to them yesterday against the Eagles, and you give Michael Vick a lot of credit because he is unbelievable and difficult to stop. He gets it going with his legs and runs for big plays, but boy, they had a couple of things happen to him in that game where you just wonder, where's the coaching? The first one, they're down, Philadelphia scores to get within 14 points. All right, it's 4th quarter, you're down 14. At least you have to think as a kickoff receiving team, you at least have to entertain the thought that there might be an onside kick coming. But their front line turned and started sprinting back to get into position to block. And it was an easy recovery for the Eagles. They go and score another touchdown. Then, of course, after the tie, then their punter's told to punt it out of bounds because then the regulation play is over with, and they'll go to overtime, and he punts it right down the middle, and the rest is history. So I know Tom Coughlin just about blew a gasket on the sideline.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal game to watch as just a fan. Like you said, the Eagles are a tough team, and they were down 24-3 at halftime, and came back to score 35 points in the second half. And you know, obviously the punter, you know, shouldn't have kicked it to him, but I mean, you can't really blame him for their defense letting up 35 points in a half. You know, that's unacceptable football, no matter who you're playing. But you know, the Giants, like you said, are definitely going to have a chip on their shoulder. It's going to be a big game for both teams. You know, both really fighting for the same position. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle. They're a very talented team, and we know what's at stake. So you know, it's going to be a heck of a football game this weekend.
What was the temp in New England?
Not too bad. I think it was about low 30s. Okay. 30 degrees, maybe.
How do you handle that?
It was cold. He's lying. I think it was below 30, but
Spent a little time by the heaters?
yes, I did. And they really do a good job in the NFL so far where I've been as far as keeping benches warm and having heaters on the sideline. And the jackets help a little bit, but you know, with the cold game against San Francisco at home, I wasn't suited out, so I had a few more layers on, and that wasn't too bad. But there, you know, when you get suited out, you got some pretty thin pants on and stuff like that, so it gets pretty cold. But they give us everything they can to try to keep us warm, and that's nice.
I would think your feet would be the toughest thing to keep warm.
I agree with that. Feet and lower legs, where you know you just have socks on or tights on down there, and the wind's coming across there and hitting them. It gets cold, but I think as long as you keep your hands and your ears warm, you're all right. Your feet start to affect you pretty bad, but the cold weather, it's another it's definitely an element that you have to get used to.
Yeah, of course, there's no cold weather advantage for the next, so many times when the Packers get home games in December and January, there's warm weather climate teams or dome teams coming to Green Bay. Not the case this time. It's the, obviously the Giants and the Bears, the two teams kind of flourish in those same type conditions. So should be interesting because everything's pretty much even Steven with the exception of the home crowd.
Yeah, and that's that's a big advantage for us. I know they'll be rocking this week. Everything obviously with everything on the line. We love playing in front of our home crowd. They do a great job of getting up early in the game and get the energy flowing in the stadium, and that certainly helps us. Whether people think it does or doesn't, we definitely acknowledge that, and we build off the crowd. So, when we're playing big games that get going, we get going. It's as simple as that. So, we're excited to be back home, and we know it's going to be a rocking stadium Sunday, and we're going to use that to our advantage.
Graham, congratulations on getting on the active roster, and we hope you stay there for a long time.
Well, thank you.
Graham Harrell, thank you, and TJ, it's been a lot of fun. Both of you guys have a great Christmas, and we'll see you back here next week.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Merry Christmas, everybody. For Justin Hall, Evan Stanek, our engineer, Reggie Raju, our producer, back in our studios. I'm Bill Scott. We'll be back next Monday night right here in the Huddle from the fifth quarter on the Woodward Radio Network.